Greetings, Gulls, and welcome to This Week at Endicott. I'm Rebecca Turner.
And I'm Sam Doucette. Here's what's happening this week across campus.
It's not too late to participate in the 7-day food fight challenge because everyone deserves a full plate. Sign up through the link in the Blue Buzz to learn about where to pick up your recyclable bag and the list to collect items needed most for the food pantry.
Register now for Spark Tank 2022. Spark Tank is Endicott's annual business pitch competition, sponsored by a generous grant from the Cummings Foundation and TD Bank. Spark Tank is an opportunity for Endicott students and alumni to make a pitch to several judges in the hopes of winning a total of $15,000 in seed money. Find out more through the link in your Blue Buzz email.
On Thursday at 12:30 p.m. in the Carol Grillo Gallery in the VPAC, the awards announcement will take place within the exhibition that highlights some of the most successful creations by students in studio courses. Students have stopped by to cast their votes. Now it is time to reveal the winners. A reception will follow.
At 6:30 p.m., join Ken Noah Dickey Jr., the founder of Free Hugs Project, for an evening of inspiration, understanding, and compassion, followed by a Q&A. Free t-shirts will be given out to the first 200 attendees.
At 7 p.m. in the Interfaith Chapel, the Catholic Fellowship meeting will be taking place. All are welcome.
On Friday at 4:30 p.m. in Mistlewood House, anyone is welcome to bake challah and celebrate Shabbat with the Jewish community.
Northeast ARC delivers lifelong support services to people with developmental disabilities. Friday night happenings take place every Friday from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m., and volunteers are always needed. Themes include talent shows, pizza parties, craft nights, dances, and more. You can sign up through your Blue Buzz email.
At 9 p.m., Late Night Loca presents Recycling Olympics in Lower Callahan. Sign up in teams to see who will come out on top in a series of exciting Olympic events. Bask in glory of being a Recycling Olympics gold medalist and win a sustainable prize pack, including gift cards to local restaurants.
On Saturday, between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m., head over to Chipotle at 210 Andover Street in Peabody for some great food and to support a great cause. 1/3 of all the sales will go toward Endicott's Alternative Spring Break Service Project. You can access the flyer and its code through the link in your Blue Buzz email.
At 8 p.m., Late Night Loca presents DIY lava lamps. Stop by to make your own groovy lava lamp and stick around to catch a movie in Lower Callahan.
On Sunday at 2:30 p.m., the Frozen Flop is happening on Mingo Beach. Who doesn't want to jump into the Atlantic Ocean in February? Here's how it works. Pick one of 4 charities listed to support. Try to get at least 4 people to donate $5 each for your participation. There will be hot drinks, a fire on the beach, music, and treats. Plus, there's a free t-shirt for each participant who raises $20 or more. Find out more in the Blue Buzz.
On Monday from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., check out the Black History Month Expo that will be taking place around campus. Groups, clubs, and classes have prepared a multi-sensory array of presentations. An award ceremony with guest speaker, Super Bowl champion Eddie Jenkins, is at 4:30 p.m. in the Cleary Lecture Hall.
The Office of Admissions is hiring student tour guides for the next academic year. If you're interested in learning more about the position, please fill out the inquiry form in your Blue Buzz email.
Endicott will celebrate its own Women of Impact across campus during Women's History Month in March. Is there someone on campus who you would like to nominate? You can through the link in your Blue Buzz.
Do you have a family member or friend that has been affected by cancer? Invite them to attend this year's Relay for Life to be honored and celebrated. Use the email below to learn more about getting registered.
Purchase snacks, candy, and other de-stress items to help students get through midterm week. The packages cost just $7, and all proceeds will benefit the Relay for Life and the American Cancer Society. Use the link in your Blue Buzz email to place an order. Now let's check out Sports Talk, hosted by Miles Crocker, featuring Barrett Hodgson about the Celtics.
Good evening everyone, and welcome to Sports Talk. I'm your host, Miles Crocker, and today on the show, we'll be talking about the Boston Celtics and all things basketball. My guest today is Barrett. Hi Barrett, how you doing?
I am phenomenal, Miles. How are you? I'm excited to talk about the Celtics.
I'm doing well, and I am also excited to talk about the Celtics and basketball, which I know a lot about. So, basketball is your favorite sport, and the Celtics are your favorite team. Tell me why.
Okay, so at a young age, I started playing baseball, and I never had really experienced anything else. And then one night, I was just kind of hanging out with my dad, and he put on the Celtics. And I really liked the colors and the logo and stuff on the court, and I was only like 6 years old. And essentially what happened was the team was awful. So when I first started watching, it was right before we traded for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. So I kind of caught them at the end of the year, and then they made those trades in the offseason. And then really my first full year watching basketball, fortunately the Celtics won a championship with the Big Three, and they beat the Lakers in the historic rivalry between the Lakers and Celtics, and they defeated the late Kobe Bryant.
Very interesting. And so it was the logo that got you into it, and then you started watching?
Yeah, the direct appeal to the Celtics was the logo and the leprechaun on the court with the green, the colors. And even though they weren't that good, the Celtics have always drawn good crowds, and the fans really cared a lot. And I just kind of liked the atmosphere that I saw right away.
So this had nothing to do with like you growing up around Boston?
I honestly didn't even really understand that at that point because I was so young. I didn't really know you were supposed to root for the home team or anything. Obviously, I've learned that as I've gotten older. But it was really the appeal of the colors and the logo. And I liked some of the players, even though they weren't very good. I thought the dunks were cool and stuff. It was just kind of the first basketball experience I saw.
Nice. So, Barrett, the Celtics for a little while were not doing too hot. Why do you think that was? And although it was 2 years ago, do you think that trading Hayward might have affected them even though he was always injured?
Yeah, so I'll start with the Hayward thing. It was 2 years ago, and it was definitely a big loss at the time. He missed a lot of games, obviously, which hurt the Celtics organization as we paid him a lot of money. He had the tragic injury to miss the whole season right away. And then later on in his Celtics career, he had a big injury right before the playoffs. I do think losing his playmaking and his scoring hurt a lot in that first direct year. But I don't know if it necessarily hurts us going into this year, and we started really slow this year. Now, the reason I think we started slow this year is we brought in a new coach, whole new system, all new philosophies, and it just takes time for the players to mesh in that new system. And I think that was a really big factor why they started out struggling, as a lot of last year without the new coach, Ime Udoka, with Brad Stevens, there's a lot of isolation basketball, not very team-oriented. It was kind of just let Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown do their own thing.
Do both the coaches have a noticeable style of coaching that leads the team forward?
Yeah, so the old coach, Brad Stevens, I do think his style was more tempo and pace, and they're both defensive coaches. They both care a lot about defense, but Ime Udoka really stresses defense and team basketball. I think Brad Stevens is okay with letting Jason Tatum kind of do his own thing and try to score the ball at will. They do have some overlap, but there's major differences.
I see. And how are they doing now?
They're doing great right now. They're on a 9-game win streak. They play again tonight, so hopefully they can extend that to 10 right before the All-Star break. And it's been really impressive to see how they've just grown over time. As at the beginning of the season, we saw them blowing 20-point leads and things like that. And since then, they've been very consistent, and it's honestly been really great to watch.
All right, next question. An 8-game winning streak, and Jason Tatum is one of the best factors of that. Do you agree or disagree? Why?
I do agree. Jason Tatum has been a huge impact on the court for this winning streak. And I think it's really because he's matured as a player. At the beginning of the season, you saw him still trying to do the isolation stuff and make everything happen on his own. But now you've really seen him develop into a playmaker, a really good passer. He's not trying to score 35 every night. He has his games where he'll score 35, but he cares about getting the 25 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and making everyone on the court better. And that's really what I've seen in the past 9 games that has really elevated the Celtics' play.
How do you think they were able to make this comeback? In what way has their demeanor changed?
So a couple things. When they were struggling, we never really saw the whole lineup play together. We had times where Robert Williams was injured, and Marcus Smart was injured, and Jaylen Brown was injured. Everyone's kind of come together, and they're all healthy, which I think is a huge thing because, like I said, they hadn't learned the system really together yet because they hadn't been playing together. So I think that was a big thing. They finally just got back playing together. Also, they're moving the ball much better on offense, passing the ball. Before, it was a lot of one-on-one stuff, and now the ball's swinging around the court. They're shooting a lot of open shots. And I think defensively, even though they've been really good all season, we've seen a growth there. Basically what's happened is the Celtics, it's very hard to score 100 points against the Celtics. And in the NBA, if you can't score 100 points in a game, it's really hard to win. So basically, the Celtics are built around their defense. They create turnovers. They create tough shots. And I think this has really factored into that offensive side where they've gotten some easy baskets in transition, and they slow things down in the half court, which allows them to get open looks. And I also think the trade deadline's helped a lot. I know we've only seen Derek White for 3 games, and Daniel Tice made his debut last night. But those two guys, they can both switch everything on defense, and they're really good, just smart basketball players, and that's what you want in your organization.
So Enes Kanter Freedom was recently traded to the Houston Rockets, where he was then released from his NBA contract. Freedom believes that this decision was made in large part due to his outspoken human rights views. However, others are saying his performance on the court was not up to par. Thoughts?
Honestly, I think it has to do more with his performance. I do think there's some things in terms of the political ideologies that he has that will affect him. Maybe a team that was interested in signing him won't sign him because he brings a little bit more attention to your team that you might not want. But in terms of basketball play, Enes Kanter hasn't been a good basketball player. He's probably the worst defensive big man in the league. He's horrible in the pick and roll. He was known for his great rebound. He can still rebound, but he's slow on offense. And he just hasn't been the same player that he was in recent years. So I think the main reason for the trade was to get Daniel Tice. I don't think it had anything to do with Enes Kanter. But the reason he got released from the Rockets, I think, was just because of his play. And the Rockets are a young team. They're one of the worst teams in the league. They want to play their young 20-year-old guys. They don't want to play 30-year-old Enes Kanter and watch him be a horrible defensive asset on the court.
So besides being sluggish and getting better players, what is the red flag as far as human rights and that whole ordeal?
I think a lot of people do respect his outspokenness to state his opinion, and I think that's a big positive of Enes Kanter. A lot of people fell in love with Enes Kanter Freedom because of this. He changed his last name to Freedom because of what he believes in. But I think as an NBA organization, you might not want that attention, if you know what I mean. I think you might want to focus on basketball and not make it about politics and human rights movement and stuff like that, which a lot of people completely support exactly what he believes in, and I support what he believes in. But I just don't think in terms of basketball, I think it was a little bit of a distraction, and that's kind of what hurt him. He kind of is sacrificing his career to show what he believes in, and it's honestly very impressive to see that someone's willing to do that.
All right, and now we're going to talk about Derek White. What do you think of his performance with the Celtics so far?
So yeah, like I said, he's only been here 3 games, but it's looked really good. Last night he was a plus 41 in the plus-minus department, and on defense, he's just as good as Marcus Smart. It's going to be so hard to score on those 2 guys in the playoffs. They're both big 6'3", 6'4" guards with long wingspans, so it's going to make it tough on the other great guards in the East to score on him. He's great from the corner, shooting the ball. He can get downhill. He can get to the free throw line. I actually think he's the perfect fit for this team. I love the trade. Tatum and Brown have played with him before in the Olympics. He played for Ime Udoka in the Olympics. He's played with Marcus Smart on the Olympic scrimmage teams. So he has familiarity with the team. And as we've seen, he's fit in seamlessly. He's been closing the games. He's going to be starting probably tonight because Smart will most likely be out. So it's going to be interesting to see how he runs in the starting lineup. But he's overall just a really solid player, and I think he's going to help this team a lot in the long run.
That's good. What is the team's biggest weakness right now, and what should they do to work on it?
So biggest weakness, I would say it's probably either wing depth or three-point shooting. Last night, they had a great shooting night, but overall in the year, they haven't been a phenomenal shooting team. So I think the three-point shooting is something it's hard to improve on with the guys you have on your roster. That might look to add some guys in free agency and get better in that aspect, which could also help with the lack of wings that you have. After trading Josh Richardson, you didn't really have a backup wing. You've been using Peyton Pritchard and Aaron Nesmith, and Grant Williams has been running a little small forward, but essentially I think the buyout market is what's going to really help the team improve in three-point shooting and wing depth.
In their game against the 76ers, the Celtics set a new franchise record of 25 three-pointers during the game. What is your reaction to that?
It was honestly completely shocking to me because like I said, their weakness has been shooting, and then they go out and they set a record, 25 three-pointers in a game, a team record. It was amazing to watch, and they blew out the 76ers, which has a potential MVP on their team. They're ahead of us in the standings. A very solid team. They won by 50 points, and it was overall really impressive to see them shoot the ball that way and defend that way.
Before we close out the show, do you think the Celtics will keep on their winning streak? And what are your hopes for the team for the remainder of the season?
I'm hoping they stay on their win streak. I mean, I don't want to jinx anything tonight. They play one of the worst teams in the league, and they head into the All-Star break, so hopefully they can get healthier over time. And I think to maintain their success, they need to keep playing team basketball. If they can move the ball around and they play good defense like they have been, I think that'll be really, really a good thing to keep going forward. And I would say my hopes would be to move up in the standings, probably the 3 or the 4 seed, and that'd be ideal for the playoff run.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me, Barrett, in the studio today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and next class. Next episode, we're going to play NBA Jam with the Globetrotters. Stay tuned.
That's all we have for this week, goals.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.